Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar, once widely recognized for their prominent role on the long-running TLC reality series 19 Kids and Counting, have become synonymous with a lifestyle rooted in conservative Christian values, large family dynamics, and public scrutiny. While the spotlight once shone brightest on the couple and their 19 children, many of whom were born during the show's run, the narrative has naturally evolved over the years. As time has passed, the Duggar family has continued to expand, not through the arrival of more children, but through the next generation, their grandchildren. In a quiet yet significant shift, the number of Duggar grandchildren has now officially surpassed the number of their children. With 19 kids, Jim Bob and Michelle once held the record for one of the largest nuclear families in American reality television history. But as those children have grown into adulthood, married, and started families of their own, the Duggar lineage has taken on a new shape. One defined not just by size, but by generational continuity. As of 2024, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar are proud grandparents to 20 grandchildren, officially outnumbering their own children by one. This milestone is more than just a numerical curiosity. It represents a pivotal chapter in the Duggar family story, a transition from a household dominated by youth and parenting challenges to one increasingly shaped by legacy, heritage, and the rhythms of extended family life. The first Duggar grandchild was born in 2015, when eldest daughter Jessa Duggar, then Jessa Seawald, welcomed her son, Spurgeon. His arrival was celebrated within the family and among fans who had followed the Duggars for years. It marked the beginning of a new era, one where Michelle and Jim Bob stepped into the role of grandparents with the same public visibility that had once surrounded their parenting journey. Since then, the pace of grandchild arrivals has steadily increased. Several of the Duggar daughters and sons have married and begun families of their own, adhering to the family's values of early marriage and natural family planning. The pattern mirrors the beliefs long espoused by the Duggars: marrying young, staying together, and building a home centered on faith and family. Jingr Duggar Vualo, one of the younger daughters known for her outspokenness and later divergence from some of the family's more rigid beliefs, welcomed her first child, a daughter, in 2023. Her journey into motherhood was marked by a more private, introspective tone compared to her siblings, reflecting her personal growth and evolving worldview. Still, she remains connected to her family, and her child is warmly included in the growing Duggar clan. Jill Duggar Dillard, another of the more outspoken daughters, has 3 children with her husband Derek Dillard. Their family has lived in different states and even spent time overseas, but they remain part of the broader Duggar network. Jill has been open about her experiences with the family's past, including the controversies surrounding her brother Josh Duggar, and has advocated for healing and transparency. Her children, though raised with some distance from the central Duggar household in Arkansas, are still very much part of the extended family tree. Joanna Duggar Forsyth, who married Austin Forsyth in a widely publicized ceremony, has 2 children. Her family life appears to reflect the traditional Duggar mold: faith-centered, home-focused, and relatively private. Joanna and Austin have chosen to remain closer to the family's base in Tontitown, Arkansas, allowing for more frequent interaction with grandparents Michelle and Jim Bob. The sons of the Duggar family have also begun expanding the family line. Joseph Joe Duggar, despite not marrying, has not had children. However, several of his brothers have. Jed Duggar married Katie Nakatsu in 2023, and while they have not yet announced any pregnancies, their marriage marks another step toward future grandchildren. John David Duggar married Abby Burnett in 2017, and the couple has 3 children, twins born in 2018 and another child in 2021. Their growing family has been featured in occasional social media posts and family updates, showing a life built around church, homeschooling, and family gatherings. Joshua Josh Duggar, the eldest son whose legal troubles have cast a long shadow over the family, is the father of 4 children with his wife Anna Duggar. Despite the controversies surrounding him, including a federal conviction for receiving child sexual abuse material, his children remain part of the Duggar family structure. Michelle and Jim Bob have maintained contact with Josh and his family, a decision that has drawn both criticism and support. For the grandparents, the presence of Josh's children underscores the complexity of family loyalty, forgiveness, and unconditional love, even amid profound disappointment. The arrival of each grandchild has been met with varying degrees of public attention. While the Duggars are no longer on television, their lives remain of interest to a dedicated fan base that followed them through 19 Kids and Counting and its successor, Counting On. Social media, family blogs, and occasional interviews keep the public informed about milestones such as births, baptisms, and family reunions. What's notable about the grandchildren's upbringing is how it reflects both continuity and subtle change. Many of the Duggar parents are raising their children with the same foundational values: biblical teaching, modesty, courtship over dating, and a strong emphasis on family unity. Yet, there are signs of evolution. Some of the younger Duggar parents incorporate. Similarly, Jingrevualo's more progressive views on faith and culture may influence how her daughter is raised, potentially creating subtle ideological gaps between branches of the family tree. These differences don't necessarily spell conflict, but they do indicate that the Duggar legacy is not monolithic. It is branching out in multiple directions, shaped by individual choices, personal convictions, and the passage of time. Still, the core remains. Weekly family dinners, prayer gatherings, shared vacations, and holiday traditions continue to bind the family together. The grandchildren, regardless of which branch they come from, share a common heritage, one defined by large gatherings, homemade meals, and an unmistakable sense of belonging. For Michelle and Jim Bob, watching their grandchildren grow is likely a deeply emotional experience. They have lived through the highs of fame and the lows of scandal. They buried a child. Their son Israel, who passed away shortly after birth in 2008, and endured the public unraveling of their eldest son's reputation. Through it all, they've held on to their faith and their family. Now, as grandparents to 20 children, they can see a future that extends far beyond their own lifetimes. The Duggar name, once carried solely by their 19 kids, is now being passed down through a new generation, children with their own names, personalities, and potential. Some may grow up to be pastors, teachers, or missionaries. Others may choose different paths. But all of them carry a piece of the Duggar story. The fact that the grandchildren outnumber the children is more than a trivia point. It's a testament to resilience, continuity, and the enduring power of family. In a world where many families are shrinking, where marriage and childbearing are increasingly delayed or foregone, the Duggars stand out as a countercultural example of generational expansion. Of course, their lifestyle is not one that everyone admires or agrees with. Critics point to the lack of privacy, the rigid gender roles, and the handling of past controversies. But even those who disagree with the Duggars' choices can acknowledge the significance of a family that continues to grow, adapt, and persist through changing times. As the grandchildren grow older, they will inevitably form their own opinions about their family's history. They will learn about the TV show that made their grandparents famous, the scandals that made headlines, and the beliefs that shaped their upbringing. Some may embrace it all, others may question or reject parts of it. That is the natural course of generational change. For now, though, the Duggar grandchildren are simply children, laughing, playing, learning, and being loved. They are the living legacy of Michelle and Jim Bob's life's work. And with 20 of them, each with their own future unfolding, the Duggar story is far from over. If anything, it's just entering a new chapter, one where the focus shifts from parenting to grand.